play to a third of the audience. 2/3 of you don't get it. I play to a third.
But you look at like Dennis Miller when he does, like the Off-White album.
Uh-huh.
I would say half that album, 70% of the audience has no idea what he's talking about.
Right.
Like, what's with this kabuki shit, Twyla? Knock off the mama shines, get a limbo stick.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? I don't get the tags, but I like the energy. I'm along for the ride.
Right, exactly. It's like that, and I'm hoping to get to that point. Like, the more I get out there, when people get to know me, they'll go with me. And I've seen that with some fans that I've gotten through podcasting or fans that I've gotten through whatever little TV thing I've done. And they're with me. They're laughing at me. And that feels better. I'm sure you feel that. Like, yeah, when
I first saw you on Best Damn Sports Show doing audience warm-up, you just kept saying Brody Stevens, Brody Stevens, Brody Stevens. And I thought, wow, this guy really just wants them to remember his name. He's got no material. He sucks. And then the second time I saw you, I go, we were nice to each other and cordial, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, this fucking the Mothra just landed on your leg. We got him. I go, oh, this Brody Stevens guy again. I was like, oh, great. And it's a weird audience. There's like 14 people, Best Damn Sports Show on that network at that time. And then like the third or fourth time you see Brody, you go, oh, it's almost, to say performance art, there's always like an undercurrent of it's not good. Like performance art to me means it sucks.
Right.
So I don't want it to be taken that way. It's performance art, but there is an element of performance art to what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Is that not your intention? Do you want to just be a straight, like Kevin James, I go out, I tell jokes about UPS, I hook up my pants and I kill and I get off stage?
I would like, you know what? Like I said, I would like to be able to do that. That's not me, so I continue.
But you're not wired like that.
Correct.
Okay. Because it would be sad if you're like, I'm this far from that, JJ.
But when I was doing warm up at Best Damn, and I've done it. I worked at Chelsea lately. I've just recently been doing the Burn at Jeff Ross. I've done a bunch of warm up, like 2,000 shows, and I'm not trying to be funnier than the show. I'm trying to do my thing and prep the audience for the show. And at Best Damn, I would get a lot of these high school kids in there. I get every like L.A. high school, every L.A. community college.
A lot of Raiders jerseys.
Football teams, yeah. And I just felt that I'm from L.A., I get it. Don't give me an attitude. I'm not some guy who's like trying to make it in Hollywood. I'm from Hollywood. It's like that was my energy there. And it worked. My thing was like the crew guys all liked me. The talent all liked me. Again, maybe not right at first. And the same thing like in college, Jim Brock, the head coach, he said, I didn't like you at first, Brody, or you were going to get eaten alive by these but now they all love you.
You're an interesting case because no one doesn't like you because you're not nice. People don't like you because you're entirely unique and they don't know how to file you away. It's their problem.
But I also feel now that I've been doing it for so long, and recently, like the last 10 years or so, that I've had some success, if you want to call that.
I completely agree with you. But I'm saying what's completely unique. Usually if you meet someone and you go, I didn't like you at first, it's almost always followed by, I thought you were a dick. Whereas with you, it's, I didn't like you at first. And I think if people are really honest, it's because I didn't know what category to file you in my mind, because you're a complete one-off.
Yeah.
And then it becomes which means it's truly that person's problem, which puts you in a bind as a performer. How am I supposed to do my show where you know how to file me? Because this is the only me I know how to do.
Exactly. Well, that's why I still have problems.
Such as?
Well, like going down to Irvine. I did Irvine Improv on one of these comedy juice shows in the middle of the week, and it was packed.
A lot of Ed Hardy T-shirts, a lot of white boys that do a lot of bench press, and they like it fast, they like it furious.
Yeah, exactly.
And they own it. All of Fast and Furious is on DVD.
Yeah, and I felt like they didn't get it. They weren't with me.
Some people. I wasn't there, and I can tell you they didn't get it.
Yeah, and you know what? It's not fun for me. And I try to do the stay with me, I'm professional, but those guys, you got to give them those jokes. And I have them. Probably I could do 15, 20, 30 minutes, jokes, but that's just a little stressful for me. And then the next night I went to, was back in Hollywood, or I did Comedy Death Ray or something like that at UCB, and it's like they're with me, right? I can go boom, 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 just rant and rave, and they get it. It's a whole...
Do you think that's because they're smarter? We're not throwing Irvine under the bus. It's probably where I perform the most, and I'm the one that said the Ed Hardy T-shirt joke. But do you think Comedy Death Ray, Upright, Citizens Brigade, do you think they get you because they're smarter?
They're smarter, a little more eager, maybe. They probably want to be in the business a little bit. There's some of that. You're in Hollywood.
Yeah.
So I always feel like, that's where I feel like the cocky. I've done a movie. You're going to look at me like I'm nobody. I book movies. How dare you give me that attitude? I'll do that kind of stuff. Is it in a fun way, of course.
And they get it in Hollywood because they know that you booked 2 lines in a movie, right?
Right.
Whereas in Irvine, they go, fuck, I don't fucking know this guy from movies.
Right.
And they think you're actually a maniac on stage ranting and raving about all your movie accomplishments, whereas you're kind of taking the piss out of yourself.
Exactly.
Okay, good. We've covered ground. For those people who are like, where are the jokes? That's all me steering this into non-jokeville, and I apologize. But I think people need to know you because you're a one-off. I don't know anybody. There is no one doing what you do. And what you're doing is comedy. And that's with me. I'm a comic, and I'm a student of comedy. Mm-hmm. Like Buddy Hackett was like a dad to me.
Yeah.
And he's like the premier hack of all time. And Carlin's my favorite.
Right.
So I that's all I do. Eat, drink, sleep, comedy. And then all of a sudden Brody Stevens comes along, and I go, I don't know where to file this guy. And so it was like my problem. And then when I filed you under, he's his own, you're a one-man band.
Right. And
I go, there's no slot for this mail because this mail has never been sent. I'm really complicating the shit.
Is that, but is that you're saying that's a good thing, though?
I'm saying it's like a magical thing because how often in life does that happen?
Not often.
How often do you see, a switch hitting, or how often do you see a lefty catcher? Never. And then you see one and he
Benny DiStefano, I think, was the last one.
See?
On the Pirates.
I'm saying it's a great thing because I don't know anybody that's entirely unique. We all have, I'm influenced by A, B, and C, and I couldn't, if you gave me a chart of all comics, I couldn't go, well, obviously he's influenced by this person and that person and this. It starts at you. And then other people are going, I don't think you know this about yourself. It starts with you, and in the year or two from right now, you are going to see young comics, doing you.
Yeah. I see that occasionally now.
Who can say that? Who does me? Nobody. Who does, I'm doing fucking stories about my kids. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But you're funny, and you do it well.
Right, but I'm not Coltrane. I'm not unique. I'm not a one-off. I'm a part of a fraternity of people that go up, and it's punchline, setup, joke, impressions, da-da-da, gotta dance, show business.
Yeah.
And then good night, and hopefully they stand at the end. And I'm never going to say, that guy's doing me. Where you, I guess, you have seen guys doing you?
I've seen some comedians fall into
the listeners are either completely asleep or going, who the fuck is this guy? This guy sounds amazing. Brody Stevens, look him up. YouTube.
Yes, Positive Energy YouTube there.
What's the clip from the HBO show on YouTube? Just type in Brody Stevens, enjoy it.
Yeah, I think actually somebody put up all the episodes.
Okay, so if you go there from this, just type in Mohr Stories so we know that's where you came and Brody can go. That's where my bread was buttered.
And you know what? I'll tell you what, I've gotten a lot. I've gotten nothing but positive feedback for the show, which I did not know what was going to happen. I didn't.
Was it on? I didn't know it was on TV yet.
It's on demand. It's on HBO Go and on some cable.
That's a network being a pussy and going, well, we're not sure we're behind it. And then if it's a huge hit on demand, they're like, Brody, baby,
right.
We loved you the whole time.
Yeah.
9:00 after fucking Boardwalk Empire.
Could happen.
But you've seen comics doing you? Now, I
I've
don't want
seen-
names. I'm just saying, do you understand how unique that is? Do you understand how much further you are than you allow yourself to think?
Yeah.
You do.
Well, I am. I mean,
Whereas now,
you open my eyes to that.
name one comic that you like. Who are the comics that you like? You can't name a comic where you see, like, Bill Burr is a guy I could think of where I could see people kind of doing Bill Burr. Mm-hmm. But that's a very specific. I can write that off to regional. Like, that's Boston aggressive. You know what? You know what, dude? You know what? You know what? Why don't you get a fucking job? Like, and that's not a very good
Boston.
Bill Burr. Or just regional. But it is. But Bill is also like this one man band type thing. But I need for you, because I think you allowing positivity for yourself to come into you because you spread it around and everybody likes being around you.
Mm-hmm.
Allow yourself to enjoy being around you and realize how completely bananas it is that there are comics doing you. And if comics are doing you, that means you're so influential that people want to be like you.
Mm-hmm.
That's...
Got to feel good.
Enjoy it.
Enjoy it.
I mean, take that on, and I'll talk to you off mic about it too, but like, you're the first guy I've ever met that I ever saw young comics doing. Ever.
Yeah.
Like, no one does Carlin.
No.
You know what I mean?
And I feel like because I was a baseball guy, I wasn't like a comedy guy necessarily growing up. I feel like I didn't have those influences. I had wrestling, like Beavis and Butthead in college.
Who's your favorite wrestler?
I mean,
Ever.
I mean, if you're gonna, I mean, I like WWF, of course, but I didn't have.
Answer the question, Brody.
Hulk Hogan was cool.
I didn't say who was cool. As I said,
I liked Hogan, Roddy Piper.
There you go. Jimmy Superfly Snuka.
Jimmy Superfly Snuka.
That was my guy. When they fucking did him on the cement floor, I cried.
Oh, Piper's Pit was the best.
It was the best.
I just loved wrestling.
Me too.
It was just so over the top, and it was...
It used to be a lot of matches, and then there'd be like a Piper's Pit.
Yeah.
And now it's 14 different Piper's Pit in like one match.
Yeah, it's not the...
Then they'll go to commercial and come back, and that match is over, and you're like, what just happened, Vince?
Yeah. Get us to the matches.
Did you get fired from Chelsea lately?
No, I quit.
Why?
I may have been fired if I didn't quit. I had done at that point probably 3 years there, close to 3 years, and probably 400 shows. And we were shooting some, like a holiday show. We were working on a weekend, or it was a holiday. And we were doing 2 shows that day. And I was warming up the audience, but the mic was all jacked up. And then the crew guys are like goofing around with me, like making noise, distracting me. Not in a malicious way, just to like get my goat, kind of. So I said, play the music. I'll be back in a couple minutes. I would do like 20 minutes up front, 25 minutes, and then bring out Chelsea in the show. And so then I went out in the hallway to vent out in the hallway. I was like upset a little bit that the guys are like messing around with me. So I went out and I talked to one of the producers. And I said, these guys are like driving me nuts. You see what's going on there? They go, no, I'm not in there. He goes, what do you want me to do about it? I go, I don't want you to do anything. I'm just telling you, the guys are like messing with me. And then I was like, but I was doing my warm-up, and I stepped right outside the studio. So I was like still energetic and fired up, and and then also a little upset that was happening, but I was still in warm-up energy mode.
Yeah.
So I guess I interrupted a conversation he was having, which I didn't realize.
Yeah. And for the listener, the audience warm-up guy is the lowest guy in the totem pole.
Yeah.
And he shouldn't be. Because I'm going to tell you something. I've done a lot of sitcoms. The audience warm-up guy has the single hardest job in show. Barry Katz and I talk about this all the time. Audience warm-up guys have the single hardest job in comedy. No one is there to see you. Not only is no one there to see you, they don't know you exist until you go, how's everybody feeling tonight? And they go, whoa, who's this guy walking around, handing out balloons and T-shirts and asking us to do talent shows and playing sound effects.
Yeah.
And then all they want to do is watch Cheers. I couldn't even pick a fucking current show. I'm so stupid. All they want to do is see Whitney.
Yeah.
And then when you see Chris D'Elia and Whitney, and they just want to see their show, that's their show. They've seen Whitney on Chelsea lately. They're rabid about Whitney. But then all of a sudden there's a rewrite, and shit goes dark for like 10 minutes. The lights are off. And then the audience warm-up guy has to go, everything's completely normal. We're still having the greatest time. And then somehow do your act while people are looking over your shoulder going, well, Whitney's right there. It seems really important what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, Alan Murray did it for Gary and Married. Ron Pearson used to do it for